talk about summarizing categorical data. Before we do so, let's talk about the shape of a dot plot. You do shape of a histogram, dot plot, box plot, and so on. So describe the shape of this distribution. What do you notice? All right, I see a gap. A gap is like an empty space. I see a gap, an emptiness between 40 and 55, between 60 and 70, and between 75 and 90. Symmetry. Symmetry is symmetrical. Does the left look like the right? No. Is there a peak? Think of a mountain peak. Is there a peak? Yes, there's a mountain peak at 60. That's the highest. That's like the summit of it. Cluster. Cluster is a grouping of number. Is there a grouping of number? Yeah, I see a grouping number between 35 and 40. I see a grouping number between 55 and 60, and 70 and 75. And last but not least, is there an outlier? Is there a number like that is completely by itself, like way outside the norm? I would say it was this one, but if you see, there's a gap between every here. If this was like farther to the right, then there would be an outlier. So there is no outlier here. But this is evenly spaced between these, so no outliers. Again, an outlier is something that lies completely outside the norm. So today what we're going to be talking about is relative frequency. That means the percentage of. If we had enough people here, we would actually do a survey with the percentage of students who like Coca-Cola, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, and root beer. And then we would summarize the data using mode. Did you know Coca-Cola is the #1 soda in the United States? So in this classroom, I do expect that most people would choose this one. So that would be the mode. That's the most frequently, the most repeated number. Then you would create a little bar graph. And then you will actually find the percentage of students. So for example, if pretending, let's say, 7 students like Coca-Cola. What fraction percent represent the relative frequency of students who chose root beer and Sprite? So let's say 3 and 5. So root beer and Sprite. 3 plus 5 out, and let's say there's 20 people in all. If I did a survey, 10, 50, or 1, there's 20 people. So it'll be 8 out of 20. What percentage is that? Remember, percentage means what? Per 100. So it's times 5. That's 40%. 40% like prefer root beer and Sprite, or 8/20 it. If you're willing to simplify it, it's 4/10 or 2/5. So 40% or 2/5 prefer root beer and Sprite. What happened? The question was this one: how many students? What fraction? And percent represent the relative frequency of students who did not choose Dr. Pepper. Did not choose Dr. Pepper. So 7 people did not choose Dr. Pepper, plus 3, plus 4, plus 1, out of 20. If you add this up, that's 15/20. But then I wanted to find a percentage. Can you build this up to 100% times 5? So it's 75% or 3/4. So let's answer some questions that you might see. There's a sports store. It asked 50 students to name their favorite type of summer Olympic sport. 5 customers named cycling as their favorite. 15 chose swimming, 8 chose athletics, 15 chose gymnastics, the rest chose fencing. Ugh. Why didn't you tell us the rest? All right, fine. We can find out athletics is like track and field, 8. Cycling is 5. Fencing is, I don't know. Gymnastic is 15. Swimming is 15. So 15 plus 15 is 30, plus 8 is 38, plus 5 is 43. So far we have 43 customers, but there are 50 customers in all. So 50 minus 43 is 7 customers chose fencing. So let's find the relative frequency. So we know there's 8 out of 50, 5 out of 50, 7 out of 50, 15 out of 50, and 15 out of 50 chose these items. And there were 100%. So again, percent means per 100. So how do you build up 50 customers to 100%, you multiply by 2, that'd be 16%. Multiply by 2, that'd be 10%. Multiply by 2, 14%. Multiply by 2, 30%, 30%. If we did this correctly, all 5 percentages will add up to what whole? 100%. So, complete the percent bar graph of the relative frequency of the favorite type C. So athletic was 1610. The 16% would go right here. 10% would go here. 14, 30, 30. 14 will go right here. 30% will go right here, and 30% will go here. Next, which category represents the mode? Mode is the most common. Well, gymnastics and swimming. They represent both equally 30%. And it's the same number. And last but not least, which question below has variability? Variability has a question that varies. A lot of varies. It has a lot of variety. Variety of answer, vary of answer. What is the Olympic record for the 500-meter backstroke? Isn't that Michael Phelps' record? That's only one person. Nope. What was the silver medalist time for the 250-kilometer bicycle race? I don't know. 50 seconds? A minute? Nope. What are typical scores for gymnastics competing in a balance beam? Well, if I'm not mistaken, well, it used to be 6.0 was the highest. I think they changed the score in gymnastics. I don't know. I guess the girl fell, trip, whatever. She'll get a 0.0. So it's a lot of different scores. So I think it's C, possible. How long did the quickest fencing match take in the 2012 Olympic Games in London? I don't know. Maybe someone got stabbed or something. Who knows? And they quit. So I quit. So maybe 30 seconds. So C is the answer. All right. So what we're talked about here is, it's just, if you think about it, isn't just as a lesson over percent what we learned in the past? So in this one, you're looking at a bar graph, or you're getting data. Can you tell me the percentage of the relative frequency, which is another word for percentage of students, those who survey, who prefer a certain item or do not prefer a certain item. So remember, percent means per 100.